This is Dr. Winfield beginning recording regarding the latest encounter with SCP, for heaven's sakes, boop. Calvin, what is the designation of this SCP? Well, I've paused the recording. What is the designation of this SCP? I mean, I don't see one in front of me in any of these notes of yours, Calvin. What do you mean this SCP does not have a designation? You just told me that this is an N designation SCP, meaning one that cannot be kept in captivity and possibly cannot even be captured. How do you have an N designation SCP without a number afterwards? Calvin, this is very amateurish. Come on. You're better than this. I mean, you were promoted for a reason. All right, fine. My clearance is high enough that I'll give this SCP a number. How about that? All right? Okay, let's start recording again. Boop. This is Dr. Winfield cataloging the latest encounter with SCP-33331. This SCP is known for a very odd ability. SCP appears to be a normal male, approximately 50 years old, who has the ability with his mind to shrink any sort of object down to size, down to various sizes. Apparently, the reason why this SCP was given an N designation, meaning that he cannot be held in captivity, possibly cannot be captured in the first place, is due to his mentality. Apparently, from the previous interactions with this SCP, it has been determined that he suffers from depression as well as suicidal thoughts and tendencies. Capturing this SCP would not be difficult. It would involve distracting him to the point that the SCP would not be able to use his powers, incapacitating him with a sleep agent, and then placing him into a proper room. The problem is, this SCP can not only shrink single objects, but he can shrink entire buildings and large structures. With his suicidal tendencies, any place where this SCP is kept, he could use his mind to shrink the building down until it was 1 millimeter in size, crushing and killing everyone within said structure, including himself. But due to his suicidal tendencies, he's not going to care about that. That is why this SCP has been given an N designation, with latest orders that this SCP be left alone. Recent contact with a team member who was spying on him. The SCP found out and was not very happy. Demonstrating his powers, this SCP took a large folding knife, approximately the size of a Buck Model 110, and here I have an example of it. This is a modern-day lightweight version of the Buck Model 110 with an aftermarket thumb stud attached. SCP asked one of our agents for his red, large, fish-shaped pocket knife. And this is the result. The SCP shrunk the large pocket knife down to keychain size in front of the agent. Keep in mind what you're seeing here, this tiny red fish-shaped pocket knife should actually be the same size as this knife. The SCP then informed our spy that he needed to leave, crossing a large wooden bridge over a raging river. As soon as the agent was on the other side, the SCP shrunk the bridge to less than half its size. The bridge was then carried away by the waves. The SCP no longer said anything to our agent, but simply stood on the other side of where the bridge was, looked at him for a few seconds before turning away and walking away. The agent was in constant contact with command through a hidden earpiece. The agent was advised to allow this SCP to walk away. We are still monitoring this particular SCP, as should he turn violent or angry, his powers are, while likely not unlimited, very impressive, very strong. After shrinking objects down to various sizes, SCP has shown no issues, no headaches, no fatigue. SCP does not even need to be directly looking at an object in order to shrink it. He just has to be within close proximity. Other agents spying on this SCP have reported that his mood varies from deep depression, suicidal thoughts and tendencies, to extreme anger. Currently, Agent 149 has been assigned to date the SCP and to try to keep him as calm as possible. With that, Agent 149 has been assigned numerous items, including a case of condoms. We believe this particular SCP is halfway mentally unstable. On a daily basis, he is functional. However, Agent 149 has reported that his mental stability seems to be very slowly decreasing. Command has decided to continue to monitor this particular SCP. Possible recruitment at this time, considering the circumstances, would not be advised. This SCP is not an immediate threat, but he is a potential very dangerous threat. Again, no containment procedures have been authorized. Trying to contain this SCP will most likely cause him to use his powers, along with his suicidal tendencies. Any base that he is put into would, for all intensive purposes, vanish. This SCP is also even more potentially dangerous than some of my colleagues believe him to be. Imagine if this SCP was able to isolate an atom and shrink it down rapidly. The results could be catastrophic. A possible explosion big enough to destroy the entire planet. From the agents who have reported in, it seems that the SCP might not be aware of his ability. He has clearly shown that it is no issue for him to shrink inorganic matter down to various sizes. He can shrink anything down from 1 millimeter smaller than it was to the point that a car would be the size of a matchbox vehicle. This SCP is potentially dangerous. Advice: continue with Special Agent 149, dating him, keeping him happy, and monitor the progress. It was a great setback when this SCP discovered one of our agents pretending to be a good friend of his. Quite frankly, we were fortunate that the only thing he did was shrink the agent's large pocket knife down to a small keychain model. And we were also fortunate that the bridge that he shrank, that got washed away, could be explained as rotting wood, considering that the bridge was several decades old, and the nearby city council was already entertaining bids and offers to tear it down and replace it. Standard procedure for covering up the incident with the SCP has already been put into place. Thankfully, we have the shrunken fish pocket knife, which is now barely an inch long, in the closed position, and the other item, the bridge, can be explained away as due to natural causes. However, any potential to possibly recruit the SCP will have to be put on hold, likely for several months, if not several years. Monitoring will continue at the current pace. Any attempt by this SCP to unalive himself will be allowed to take place. Regarding the possible solution of the agency unaliving this particular SCP, some of my colleagues have theorized that any method tried could trigger an involuntary response. What that response might be, we cannot tell. But this SCP is very powerful, possibly more so than even he believes. We cannot allow this SCP, whom is referred to simply as John, we cannot allow this SCP to be unalived by any of our agents. We must continue monitoring. Currently, this SCP is living in St. Louis, Missouri. We have tracked him down from Cincinnati, Ohio to St. Louis, Missouri. Monitoring will continue at the usual pace. The actions of Agent 149, the SCP's, what he believes to be is his loving girlfriend, will continue as well. Request put in by Agent 149 for more birth control pills and condoms shall be approved immediately. This SCP must be monitored. No aggressive action against him. That is all for now. Boop. All right, Calvin, I want you to edit this particular entry in the beginning. Make sure that no one sees this particular entry unless they are a level 3 or higher. Have you got that? Yes. Well, what am I supposed to do, Calvin? What am I supposed to do? The freaking director hates that word. It is so ridiculous that we can't say the actual word in any of these video recordings. We have to do stupid nonsense like say unalive. It's so ridiculous. I don't understand why we can't use the actual word, but okay. I guess unalive it is. Maybe one day our genius director will get a clue. Anyway, Calvin, make sure to edit this entry properly. I appreciate it. All right. And yes, we are going to refer to this SCP by that N designation and the number I made up off the top of my head, because what else can we do? All right. Let's break for lunch.